Breaking news in a CBS Sports HQ, Texas head coach Tom Herman has been terminated by the athletic department effective immediately. In his 4 seasons as head coach, Herman led the Longhorns to a 32-18 record. The now former head coach is due $15 million via buyout. His staff due another $24 million. Texas is 4-0 in bowl games under Herman. They just weren't the right bowl games. Reportedly, Steve Sarkisian tabbed as the next head coach of the Longhorns. We now welcome in Chip Patterson and Tom Fornelli to react to the news. Gentlemen, a big-time firing at the Texas program. Tom Herman out as head coach. Chip, your initial reaction to this somewhat surprising news here on Saturday?
Yeah, very surprising. And I go back to a creeping sort of voice when there was that vote of confidence, because the words that Texas Athletic Director Chris Del Conte used when he released that statement, he said, Tom Herman is our head football coach. What was absent from that announcement was he will be back for 2021. He just said he is our football coach and we are standing by him. I'm reviewing the process. Then when he got a chance to speak to some reporters, Chris Del Conte said, you know, we're not going to move on from Tom Herman unless we feel like we've got a knockout replacement lined up. And that's where the timing here, again, Tom Herman fired, being official. Reportedly, we're going to see Alabama offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian stepping in. That is the knockout replacement. And look, there is nothing more that you need to see than what Alabama did offensively, not only this season, but in that game against a good Notre Dame defense, to think that Sark's stock is on the rise. But for Tom Herman, this has to be wildly disappointing. You spend all that time preparing for the Alamo Bowl. You lead the Longhorns to victory in that game. And now you find out on January 2nd that you are out of a job. This is not an inexpensive move for Texas with Herman and all the assistants. The buyouts reportedly total about $24 million. But we're talking about Texas here. I mean, resources, money, these are not hurdles. This is a fascinating turn here. Again, one day after Alabama gets done, Texas now has the green light to move in and make things official with Steve Sarkisian, and that's exactly what they're going to do. This is one of the iconic programs and one of the blue bloods in all of college football. Anytime there's a change, it's going to be breaking news and headline worthy. But the fact that it comes several weeks after that vote of confidence, that makes it really surprising.
Yeah, if you know, Auburn right now should probably be pretty happy with Texas, because they might have just made Auburn look a little less dumb with the way they were able to handle their coaching search and after replacing Gus Malzahn. Because I can't say I'm surprised, because nothing is ever really out of left field when it comes to Texas and that football program. But I do not understand the timing on this at all. Like Chip just said, it was a few weeks ago in which Chris Del Conte, the athletic director, was giving the vote of confidence, saying that Tom Herman was going to be back. Well, if you were still considering firing Tom Herman, what did he have to do in the last few weeks to save his job? Because it's not like they went out and lost the bowl game to Colorado. They looked fantastic in their bowl game against Colorado. You kind of saw some glimpses of the future with Casey Thompson at quarterback and Bijan Robinson at running back. There was giving you some reason to be optimistic going forward. So what happened in the last few weeks that has suddenly pulled the trigger on this now? You should have just done it a few weeks ago and begun your coaching search then. You probably still would have ended up with Steve Sarkisian, who is a good coach and who has obviously done a great job of fixing his image and rehabbing his career at Alabama and has put together a fantastic offense. But I'm not going to consider this, if it is Sarkisian, to be a home run hire, because if we look at Sarkisian's time at Washington and USC, it's not like we were talking about a team that was winning conferences and playing for national titles there. So you're bringing somebody in Texas who has underwhelmed at big time programs before. So I don't know that why you feel the need to bring him in to replace Herman, thinking that he is a clear upgrade. And again, it's not Sarkisian. I think he could be a fantastic hire. He could win at Texas. But the problem at Texas is always going to be there are too many cooks in the kitchen. There are too many people with a say in what goes on in that program. Too many people pulling on the rope in different directions. And it's just another disaster for me for the Longhorns. And I don't think this is going to work either.